All right, YouTube, let's get going. More videos to check out. More things to learn about the largest crime in history.
I am increasingly baffled by today's modern Christians' seeming inability to even consider the fact that the same. I am increasingly baffled. I am increasingly.
3, 2.
Baffled by today's.
Sorry, hold on. I gotta make it. All right. 3, 2.
Seeming inability to even consider the fact that the same villains that Jesus dealt with in the Bible are the same villains that we are dealing with today, which namely would be the church, hypocrisy, the Pharisees in the church.
Jesus is
If I went
Palestinian.
into a church nowadays, do you guys think that they would even know the word
Actually,
Pharisees?
hold on. The letter J wasn't even invented until like the 1400s or something like that. His name was Yeshua. And like that became Joshua and stuff, but yeah.
Just went in there and was like, Pharisees, do you think they've like whitewashed that out of the teaching completely so that they don't self-realize at all, and that's part of why no one is making any strides in that arena? Because otherwise, y'all say you're in the Word. You say you're in the Word, you say you know what you're talking about, right? So what's the disconnect? Like, how large does this aspect of cognitive dissonance have to be for you to be the participants that Jesus would have hated? You are the Pharisees. You're the Pharisees. Is no one told you that yet? You are absolutely the Pharisees. Jesus would have hated you. He would have been in your churches, flipping your tables, cursing you out. And you know what? Some people tried to do way less than that recently, and you tried to get them all arrested. And you know what? You deserve that, though. You deserve the least of it, is people coming into places that you feel safe and cursing you out because you're Pharisees. You're hypocrites. Jesus would hate you, and you're the reason that the world is terrible right now. So enjoy that. I am.
Yeah, very good point, Allison. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, she just uploaded this. Let me say a little something. Oh man, there's already 4 comments before me. All right, let's go.
Karyna Shulyak, you can run, but you can't hide because my followers will find you and they will send your pictures to me. Shout out to my follower Sonia, who emailed me photos of Karyna, and then I was able to locate this Instagram page. That right there, that's Karyna Shulyak. That's right, the same Karyna Shulyak that was seen with Jeffrey Epstein just 2 days before he offed himself, allegedly. You know, the same Karyna who he left $100 million to. His dentistry school he paid for. He even got her own dentist chair in his house. Here is Karyna again at her Columbia postdoctoral gala. Confirmed she was attending Columbia University College of Dental Medicine. She always seems to be hiding in the back of each photo. See, there she is again.
Oh, she's a dentist. They were removing children's teeth so they couldn't bite when they were being tortured.
And I can't help but wonder if she just doesn't want to be seen. Because after all, Karyna, you were the last person to see Jeffrey Epstein. He also handed to you a majority of his fortune. Claimed in his will that he had planned on marrying you and was going to buy you a 33-carat ring. Something tells me you were actually the bond keeper holding the whole plan together. Because I think we all know that Jeffrey Epstein didn't really kill himself, did he? So while you were trying to blend right in, you were really playing the part as secret keeper.
Yeah, that's Karyna Shulyak. You are the sick person. All right. Michael Jackson went, but he was there with his family, and it was like he was just visiting. How involved was Chris Tucker, though? Oh, there's a Chris Tucker response?
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you? Now I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. Well, that was a humanitarian trip to Africa, and
Yeah.
I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation, and yeah, I met him, and you don't know people what they do in their private lives, so yeah.
But tell me this, Chris. You was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, was it Lolita Express?
Oh yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh yes.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No, 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 no. Uh-uh. I don't know where that thing at.
I mean, like from what can see, I feel like I kind of I take his word. Yeah, like yeah, I don't really. Chris hasn't really been involved in controversy that I'm aware of like that. Um, yeah, there was a lot of celebrities that like were in their sphere. Like Anne Hathaway, she got invited to dinner a couple times, but she got invited to dinner. She had dinner with a couple of them, and then she got invited again with her husband, and they didn't go. So it's like they're trying to implicate celebrities or just trying to like legitimize their, or I don't know, like whitewash their crimes. But yeah, you can't. Grain of salt. Not. I mean, unless there's further evidence that shows otherwise for like individuals such as Chris and Ann. But I mean, I mean, you could be a coworker with like crazy individuals as well, and there's never know people's actual and private lives. But yeah, that's yeah.
I think things are about to get a lot uglier with the you know what files, and I'm just putting this information here for anyone who wants to do what you will with this information, because I think it needs more eyes on it. But like 2 days ago, I saw that somebody posted on an online forum anonymously that they had found out that if you go to the DOJ website and you look at the files and you search image not found, there are something like 4,000 files that come up with no information. Like they're not emails or nothing. It just opens a page.
Yeah, Pam Bondi, she was on Stan, and they were saying how there's 6 million files and they only released 3 million.
That says the file name and then it says like .pdf. But if you change the extension, so if you change the .pdf at the end to .mov or .mp3, some of them pull up as actual files that are unredacted. So now we have people going through each of these image not found files and looking at this unredacted information. And I tested it. This is true. One file in particular, I'll put the name of it here because now anytime I actually post a screenshot of something that I found in the files, my content gets flagged. This file that's on screen right here shows as image not found. But if you change the extension to .mov, it pulls up an ultrasound. It's a 3D ultrasound, which I think happens anytime after 22 weeks of pregnancy. When I was pregnant, that's when it happened, but maybe an ultrasound tech can weigh in here. But at the top left corner of that file, there is the patient's name. If you search that patient's name in the file, 2 more results pop up. One of those emails is from the patient to a man named David Stern, who was a German businessman, lawyer, and I think an aide to Prince Andrew. If you know, you know. And this patient, who's a woman who had the ultrasound, is saying, should we get this for Jay's next present? Links to a book, which is this. I don't know if there's anything there that might be a red herring. But what I'm saying about this is that now there's probably hundreds of people, if not more, looking into all of these files that were images not found, seeing what's there when you change the extension. So I'm just sharing this for anyone who wants to go down that rabbit hole. There is a lot people have found already, including some horrible, horrible videos and images that I'm not even going to tell you what they are because I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about. But for anyone with a strong stomach who's already going down this rabbit hole, what you will with this. Maybe you guys can find something that other people haven't found already. And I'm sure that this will be fixed. I have no faith that the Department of Justice is going to let this go. So who knows how long those files will even still be. I think things are...
Thank you, Ashley, for educating us about that.
The Epstein files has opened the gateway to a lot of conspiracy theories being true. And I mean deep-seated conspiracy theories. And one that most people really don't know about unless you go, like, you're really, really into, like, the conspiracy theory community, is this conspiracy theory about a supercomputer that has been available since the 1960s called Deep Blue, which is essentially, like, the smartest supercomputer, like, think tank box of all time. It is essentially an unrestricted AI computer because, by the way, the government has had AI long before it was introduced into the public. And what they would do is that they would have this team of like think tank, like super geniuses, like feeding this AI super genius computer questions again, completely unfiltered, to try to find ways to control the general population. But one problem that they kept coming back to was that no matter what they did, no matter, how many things they changed, whatever, Deep Blue always came to the conclusion that the general population was going to wake up to the fact that they were being controlled. It was just a matter of time. And this is like the most terrifying thing to the elites. So I got curious and I went on to the DOJ. I'm currently on the Epstein files, justice.gov, Epstein files. And I decided to just look up Deep Blue and see what came up.
Oh, wow.
54 files came
Wow.
up. And some of them are just, Epstein talking about like color schemes or whatever. But I just came across something really interesting. I clicked on the file and it was labeled Project Prime AGI. And their goal is to create a human level of or greater than of artificial intelligence. Their timing goal is by 2025 to 2030. As in right now.
Whoa.
Doing it as an open source project for the good of humanity, doing it safely. Now, the thing that really got me, so this is the first page, right? So I'm just reading you all the information. Raising funds for phase 1. So everything that's discussed in this is just phase 1. How many phases are there? What? An example of human level AGI. So essentially what their goal is to get to. When a robot can go into an average American house and figure out how to make coffee, including identifying the coffee machine, figure out, they essentially wanted to create robots that could blend in with humans. There's a section called the Turing test, and it's basically saying a text dialogue AI that is indistinguishable from a human in online conversation. So their goal was to get to a point in AI in where we could not distinguish whether we were talking to a human versus a robot, which, look at our world right now. I think they accomplished what they wanted. There's also something that's called a robot university student test. When a robot can enroll in a human university and take classes in the same way as humans and get its degree, then we've created artificial general intelligence. They've distinguished two types of AI. So narrow AI is essentially it's trained in its program. So it can't drive a car. General AI, which I'm assuming was their goal, can in principle learn to do anything a human can learn and more. So is educated, has its own brain. It has a section and it goes, why now? AGI has been the implicit long-term goal of AI research since at least the 1950s. Like I said, guys, they've had AI for a lot longer than it's been out in the general public.
Yeah, there's a X-Files episode from the 1990s about talking about AI.
It's crazy, guys. This is actually insane. There's a section that says, why us? And it says, Ben Gortzel is the leading thinker. Did I not literally just say that it's a think tank? Did I not just say that? Evangelist and organizer in AI community. Anyways, this is hurting my brain, so I'm going to stop the video here. But it's like, if this was phase 1, what phase are we on now? What are they working on now?
That's incredible. Shout out to you. Wow, that's crazy.
So, of course, I had to see what do the Epstein files say about autism. One of the first things I saw was Autism Cured, the study of William. So this was an email sent to Jeffrey Epstein from Stanley Rosenberg. He had William as a patient, and he apparently was able to cure William of his autism through stimulation of the vagus nerve. I watched the YouTube video. It shows videos of William when he was a child, and it also shows testimonies from his brother talking about what it was like with William growing up and what William is like now after the treatment. And he is independent, he has a girlfriend, he lives on his own, and he graduated with a master's degree. Stanley, he reached back out to Jeffrey Epstein and he said, hey, years ago, I tried to talk to you about my book about the vagus nerve. Stanley sent him a copy of his book, Assessing the Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve. Basically, in the book, he talks about how you can help relieve the severity of autism symptoms as well as the severity of other neurological conditions by healing the dysregulation of the nervous system via stimulation of the vagus nerve and the neck muscles. Now, I'm not here to promote Stanley because clearly he was in communication with Jeffrey Epstein, but I did think that this was really interesting information because if you watch my Why series, part 9, it talks about how dysregulation of the nervous system can contribute to autism, and that there are trained PX doctors who are chiropractic doctors who are trained in assessing and adjusting people with autism to help alleviate the dysregulation of the nervous system. And so you can find a doctor who is trained in these types of treatments to help children with autism. If you want to learn more, you can watch my Why Part 9, and
Oh, you want to know something else about Epstein that everyone seems to have just missed or glossed over just because he had masks on the wall of one of the many dentist clinics that he had on his properties? No, this was not an occult ritual. This was not even pulling teeth so you can't identify bodies, and it's certainly not to give his girlfriend practice. There's not enough critical mass at any of these properties where she'd be getting any sort of practice. No. Even if you account for girls that have gone missing. This is for drugs. And I know the dentists know exactly what I'm going to say, but I imagine that you haven't spoken up until now because you don't want your face out there with the dentist from Little Shop of Horrors. This was for the midazolam, for the propofol, for the fucking ketamine, nitrous, diazepam, whatever the fuck they were using to get the girls to forget, to get them pliant and compliant, to get them not to remember faces and names and places and dates, to make them be unreliable witnesses so the jury doesn't trust them. That's even if they get to trial. It's even if they're alive. And they can transfer the drugs between any of these offices. All you need is to say where they went. This was so you don't get flagged with your distributors when you order that shit. So all you need is a DEA Form 222 and you can get them. This was an operation and it wasn't for pulling teeth. And you want to know something diabolical? I have the faint suspicion that these masks...
Uh-oh. Oh, what's going on?
So when one of these girls woke up, they would say that they saw some outlandish face and don't trust their own memory. It's diabolical.
Just gaslighting their memory. Oh my gosh.
Information broker that used the leverage of compromising information to take down governments. And compromising information works especially good if it's against a country that has supposedly a functioning legal system, supposedly a democracy, supposedly one that would cause a scandal if it's ever found out. And you want to know who's an expert at full compromise operations? One who retired with a full hero's pension from the spy agency when he retired in the early 90s. I'll give you a hint. He's still a world leader. Oh, you want to know something else about
Oh, can you not give me a hint? I'm not smart, man. I need you to explicitly tell me who. All right. Well, still, shout out to this guy for just teaching us this stuff. But please, people, TikTokers, everybody, just tell us. I don't know. I'm dumb. I need people to I don't know, man. Please. Wait, hold up. Who's Sascha Riley?
Sascha Riley. I was born Manuel Sascha Bartels, but my legal name is William Sascha Riley at this time.
Okay, tell me everything that you've been wanting to say. Testimony, getting your testimony of what you experienced, what abuse you suffered, and what you were witness to.
I am for whatever puts a light on this, because in my mind, the powers that be are already aware of my position on it and aware that I have spoken up. And, the more light that is shed on there, I don't think that I'm incurring more risk, except for some maybe lunatic that wants to be a soldier for Donald Trump. I don't mind whatever would bring a little bit more light to this, particularly the stuff, if we can get some of this stuff verified, and I know that me speaking up is one thing, but then the verification process, is important too. I am confident that it's there because somebody that I served with in the Army got put out of the Army. My chain of command talked to me and they said, hey, some of these images, some of the films or whatever that he had looked just like you. And that was the first time I think I had ever talked to anybody about having done those films. And I told them, yes, when I was a child, I had to do those things. My name is Will.
Wow. Jeffrey Epstein's pilot adopted a child to give Jeff for smexual abuse, torture, whatever. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my.
Okay, we're going to talk today about this, which happens to be where the temple is on that island, and this other little island called Dog Island, and why these two guys specifically below are no longer with us. Now, if you don't know who those two guys are, that's Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell. Now, let's get into Chris Cornell first. Chris Cornell, while in a couple of different bands like Audio Slave, one of the bands he was in was called Temple of the Dog. Temple of the Dog. Now let's go into the lyrics of Hunger Strike by Temple of the Dog. But I can't feed on the powerless when my cup's already overfilled. But it's on the table, the fire's cooking. In there farming babies while the slaves are working. The blood is on the table and the mouths are choking. But I'm going hungry. So Chris is here saying I'm not gonna feed on the powerless, like I'm already overfilled, like I've already got so much in my life. He literally says they're farming babies, the slaves, the S-slaves are working. Blood is on the table, we've heard about that in the files, what they're doing, eating. But I'm going hungry. He's not participating, right? So this is just from Chris Cornell. Now let's get into Chester Bennington. Now for those of you who don't know about Chester Bennington, he was essayed as a child growing up. That's going to be a big part of this. His song Crawling is specifically what we're going to go over. Now a lot of people think this was a song about drug addiction. If you watch the music video and you actually listen to the lyrics, you get to understand this song is not about that. It's about him being essayed. But let's get into it. All of these lyrics go basically with what we're talking about, but I highlighted the ones specific to me. Crawling in my skin, these wounds, they will not heal. I can't seem to find myself again. I felt this way before, so insecure. And then down here at the bottom, this is the part in the music video that we'll be getting into. I'll show some stuff from the music video. Against my will, I stand beside my own reflection. We're going to see what that's when that lyric comes up in the music video. So the music video is all about this woman throughout the video getting essayed by this man in the video. And going back to the lyric that I was talking about, let's go to the exact point of when that lyric gets said in the music video. Against my will, I stand beside my own reflection. And it's Chester in the music video seeing himself in a reflection, seeing this girl who's getting essayed throughout the entire video. If that's not clear cut for you, I don't know what would be. But I do have one more thing we can get into, which is when these two guys went live
I just got chills, man. I got shivers.
In concert. And the live concert part answers everything that I need to know, because what are the two songs these guys sung together? Well, I was actually at this concert. Chris Cornell sung first. He was first on stage. Chester Bennington came out for one song with Chris Cornell, and what was it? It was Hunger Strike. And then Linkin Park played after Chris Cornell, and Chris Cornell comes out for one song with Linkin Park, and what song was that? It was Crawling. Let's look at both of those.
Dang. Meine Liebe für dich. That's what it said on the shirt. That means my life for you. Or my love for you. I think it's German. Dang, that's hard. I never saw that.
And to me, it's so telling that Chris Cornell came out and sang that exact verse. Against my will, I stand beside my own reflection, while walking up to Chester and giving him a hug. To me, that says all that needs to be said. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
This one's for the pet moms.
Okay, we're
Man, Man, I remember that song "Like a Stone" that Audio Slave put out, and I never really liked it when it came out. But then I heard that song randomly like a couple years ago, and I was just like, "Yo, I don't know what he's talking about," but just hearing Chris Cornell's voice, I was like, "Whatever he's talking about, you can tell he means everything he's saying, the way he's singing it." Cause like I never liked as a kid. I remember it would come out on the radio all the time when it first dropped, and I hated it because it was just so boring. And I was like, it was like a super group of Chris Cornell and Tom Morello. I feel like this should be an amazing. But I was just like, I hated that song. But then I heard that recently, and it just like I was like, dang, you could hear just like whatever he means, everything in his voice. And man, oh man, that was powerful. And that's sad, man. That's so sad. Like, no child should ever have to, like, go through something like that.
Grass is not enough. I need horrible things to happen to powerful people. Grass is not enough. I need horrible things to happen to powerful people.
Alright guys, so rumor has it that Trump met with his cabinet today and threatened to fire everybody if they didn't release the 3 million files. So according to what's going around right now is that it's gonna tank the stock market because hedge funds, like the main heads are involved. The shit that's on those files are so insane. And yeah, Trump said he doesn't want nothing to do with that shit. He doesn't want to have his name tied. And they had shit against his wife. They said that she was a prostitute and all this shit. So he basically forced Pam Bondi to release everything, and it's been released. So if you're shorting the stock market, fuck, let me hold fucking $100, dude. But it's supposed to be crazy the next couple days, and we'll see. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so rumor has it.
Wow. Let's call it at that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Learned a lot. This is still coming. So apparently a bunch of files just came out, and I'm sure the smarter people than me are going through it. It's a process. We're still in it. Let's keep going. Peace and love, everybody. Let's build a better world. Yeah. Peace.